Chris Kenny, we have a quorum, so let me know who else we're waiting for, and we don't have to get started right now, but
We're ready when you are, please.
okay.
HCAM's ready.
Okay, thanks, Matt. So then I will go ahead and open the November 18th, 2025 meeting of the Elementary School Building Committee for the Charleswood School at 6 o'clock. Good evening, everyone. I'll quickly review our agenda and then we will get right to it as we have a fairly routine agenda tonight, hopefully. So after our opportunity for public comment, under new business, we'll have approval of the minutes of our last meeting, as well as approval of invoices, a brief recap of the recent groundbreaking event, and then we will get a building construction and street improvements update. And then we will look to adjourn, hopefully well before 7 o'clock. So if there are no questions on the agenda, I am also seeing that we do not appear to have anyone here for public comment, but if anyone does show up and wants to make a public comment later in the meeting, we will entertain the opportunity for us to revisit that. Next, we'll move on to minutes. We have in your packet were the minutes of the October 21st, 2025 meeting that we had. Does anyone have any notes or sorry, comments or questions regarding the minutes? Okay, hearing none, I would seek a motion to approve. Oh, Mike, sorry.
I recommend approval of the minutes of October 21st, 2025 as written, sir.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, I have a motion by Mike, second by Jagroot. We are conducting this meeting virtually, so consistent with those rules, we will be voting via roll call, starting with Bill.
Yes.
Mike.
Yes, sir.
Jagroot.
Yes.
Chris Masters.
Yes.
And I am a yes, so the minutes are approved unanimously 5-0. Next, we've got some bills to pay. Our invoice package today includes 6 invoices, one from Vertex, invoice number OPM 11643 in the amount of $100,197.75. One for Perkins Eastman 009542100023 in the amount of $130,274.50. One for Brake Builders Corporation, APP05, in the amount of $4,483,983.28. An invoice for Lynch and Sons, APP01, in the amount of $31,762. And then we have 2 invoices that are, I believe, reimbursements for Megan Cox and Danielle Kinberg. $217.72 and $596.59 respectively, bringing our total invoice package to $4,747,031.84. Are there any comments or questions related to the invoice package? Okay, hearing none, I would seek a motion to approve the total invoice package as presented in the meeting materials.
So moved.
Motion by Bill, second by Mike, and we will go roll call again. Bill?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes, sir.
Jagroot?
Yes.
Chris?
Yes.
And Tiffany?
Yes.
And I am a yes, so that one is unanimous 6-0, and the invoices are approved to be paid. Susan, I will sign that tonight and send it over. Okay, next up on our list is groundbreaking recap. So we actually, now I'm forgetting that it was November 4th, right? Was the date. So we had the groundbreaking ceremony on November 4th. on the school site by the marathon side, which was a great moment to mark the progress on this project. Um, Hopefully everyone has also had a chance to go back and see the progress on the building site. Members of the committee, if you haven't, I really highly recommend it. Reach out to Chris Kenny to schedule a time to go over there and just get a walk around. It really is, for the couple of years that we have been putting into this project, it's nice to see it really starting to come to fruition. The groundbreaking was well attended by local officials. So we had representatives from, obviously locally, the school committee and the select board and town offices. We also had the MSBA, Representative DeRosa and Senator Spilka all attended. As I said, it was just a great opportunity to celebrate the progress. So a big thank you to Vertex and Perkins and Brait, and certainly the school department, Tim, your whole team, for putting everything together and making sure that it went off without a hitch. I guess bar the speaker getting blown over by the strong winds. But I thought it was a great event. Any other thoughts regarding the groundbreaking? So the next probably um, marker moment will be I believe that we do the topping off ceremony. Do we have I mean, I know we haven't even gotten steel yet. Do we have a sense of like roughly when that would be?
Probably in January,
Okay.
maybe. Yeah, it won't be late December. They start steel. The first delivery is next Monday.
Okay.
They'll start erecting in A and work their way around. I believe the piece for the topping off is going to be in the gymnasium, which is the last sequence as they kind of go around counterclockwise. 6 to 8 weeks for erection, and then they detail for another 3 or 4 weeks after that. So
Okay.
the erection will fall in that kind of 6 to 8 week period.
Okay. So people, as you're planning, you can think about kind of early 2026 for that next marker. Okay. Well, with that, Chris, I'll turn it over to you for building construction updates.
Right. Go ahead and everyone see the project dashboard,
Yeah, you're in presenter mode, so we're kind of seeing
both.
yeah, we're seeing
Yeah.
both.
Let me try this again. Okay. Oops. Better?
Yeah. Oh no, it's the same.
Still the same. All right. We got it to work last time.
I can try it on my end if you want, Chris.
Sure, that would be great.
Is it? Just bear with me as I open it up, folks. We have so much to share that it's a large file and it'll take a second to open up. Did that work?
Yep.
That's it. So just working through the first page each month is our project dashboard, which just gives us a real quick snapshot of the project health. At the moment, there are no safety issues with the job site, which is good to report. The schedule, we're on schedule. We'll have a discussion at the end of the slides about the Brait's current schedule and our efforts to support that. Budget, we're on budget with the project at the moment. Testing and inspections is going on and there are no issues. The minor non-conformance items are being closed by the subcontractors each week. FF&E and technologies we'll get into probably first or second quarter of 2026, but no issues to date. And then just the item here following up on what we talked about at our last meetings regarding the foundation. Work is proceeding with the foundation. In fact, they're looking to wrap up the final concrete placement for the foundation walls this Friday. So we're still waiting for building inspectors' issuance of a permit, but the work is proceeding. So next slide. Any questions on the dashboard before we move on? As we've said before, the column on the left in green just, shows that everything's proceeding. If it was yellow, we'd be discussing it weekly and monthly here, and red are issues that need immediate attention. So we're in the green. Yep.
If I may, that last one about issues, foundation work, etc. The building inspector has been coming out regularly to inspect the work. Just so everybody knows that. I just wanted to clarify.
Right. And reviewing and signing off on the reinforcing and concrete placements. Next slide. This shows the extent of that foundation work that I mentioned. The teal, light blue color shows the foundation walls that have been completed. On the left is area A, which is the cafeteria entrance in the first wing. To the right is area B that has also been completed. Next slide. And this shows area C to the left, and all the foundation walls have been completed there, as well as the piers. And then to the right is area D, which is the gymnasium, showing what's been completed and what is next. So they're scheduling to place the concrete foundation wall and piers on Friday of this week. Just a few images of that work that's progressed since our last meeting in October. The foundation wall, this shows a view of those foundation walls in area A. To the image to the left shows that, and then just details of the foundation walls plus piers for the columns going in under construction over the past month. Next slide. In addition to the foundation work, they've been preparing the roadway for the binder asphalt course that's being placed on Thursday. That involved bringing in material, compacting it, and getting prepared for that paving operation, as well as extending the utilities up from Hayden Row Street back into the site. So that's also going on, also been going on this month. Next slide, please. Just another view of, on the left is the backfilling of those foundation walls in area A and the placement of foundation walls in area B. And then the compaction that goes on with that backfilling within the building area. You see the piers as well as the perimeter foundation walls and interior walls. The image to the right shows the electrical conduit being installed, again, up from Hayden Row back to the site and the building. And then the furthest image to the right is those same conduits being encased in concrete to make up the duct bank. Waterproofing was installed at the mock-up in preparation for the window and curtain wall that's being delivered next week. So the mock-up's proceeding in advance of the work on the building. Image to the right is the footing for the foundations at area D, the gymnasium area. So this will be the final area they place. Any questions on any of the images? These bullet points here really just identify the progress over the past month and then what we're looking to accomplish next month. So mobilization and the start of drilling actually did not occur. That's been pushed out to coordinate with the paving that's going on at the end of this week. We did have a mechanical, electrical, plumbing commissioning kickoff meeting with the consultant. Steel erection pre-construction meeting, met with the erector to talk about the sequences and how that work would proceed. The groundbreaking that John talked about occurred on the 4th. Foundation formwork, reinforcing and concrete placements for areas C and D progressed. Underground sewer and water utilities that I showed in the images. Roadway subbase preparation, erosion control, sedimentation basins, and swale stabilizations occurred. And then the mock-up with waterproofing being installed. Next month, we're looking at completing the asphalt binder course that will take us from Hayden Row back to the parking area just outside of the entrance to the building. We'll be mobilizing and starting drilling of the geothermal wells. We'll complete the installation now that that backfilling at area A was complete for the modular retaining wall that's in the southeast corner of the site. The foundation, concrete, waterproofing, and backfilling will be completed. Structural steel erection, columns and beams will start, and decking. And they'll resume the excess soil exporting. Those large mountains that are still on the site will continue to be exported off-site. And as I mentioned with the mock-up, windows, curtain walls, and masonry will be installed at the mock-up. Any questions on that? In terms of change order updates for the project, there were no change orders issued or approved this month. We did have 4 pending change or proposed change orders approved, which is the first step in the change order process. a credit for a double buy on the fire protection system. It was carried by two subcontractors, so there's a credit from one back. We added some valves for the water distribution per the DPW. There was some structural steel detailing changes and tree clearing and trimming that occurred outside of the limit of work, but adjacent to the site. We had to do this work because it posed a hazard to the trailer area as trees were hanging over and dropping limbs back onto our site. The total for those four change orders is $20,123.67. There'll be a change order follow-up, John, that we'll have you sign as we did with change order one for incorporation into the Brait's contract.
And just one side note for the committee, just so that nobody gets too excited. The current pending and estimated change orders line is measured against the actual budgeted construction contingency. It is not budgeted against the available funds. So that 7% is 7% of the contingency. It is not 7% of the somewhere in the neighborhood of 22 million that remains available within the budget.
Right. And this is the estimated is when an issue comes up, we apply a order magnitude estimate to it, and then it works its way through the system. The pending are ones that have been submitted by the contractor that are in the process of working through with Perkins, us, and the town.
And Chris, I believe the majority of that six-figure number relate to boulder identification.
That's correct. About 246,000 of that 385 is related to one item, which is the unit price overage for boulder removal. Moving on to the budget update. Expenditures this month in the VIP that was just approved, $130,275 brings their Perkins total expenditures to $8,533,238. So about 69.8% of their total contract value has been expended. For us, the OPM expenditures this month at $101,197 brings our total to $1.4 million, $31,040, about 31% of our total contract value has been expended to date. For the contractor, the $102,270,000 contract value, for which let's see, billings to date $7,884,226, about 7.7% of their total. I believe there's one more. This month we added Lynch. So if you scroll forward. So two contractors now billing, and their contract value is 1.4 million, for which they have billed $30,174. Again, about 2.1% of their total contract value. Any questions on that status? Following up on John's comments about the groundbreaking, we thought it would be good to have this slide just let this group know that participants included state representative, the Senate president, as well as, MSBA leadership, school committee members, members from this group, the town, and then public school personnel. So it was a nice event, a little chilly, but still nice to be out there. Local press covered it. HCAM recorded the event, and I think the highlight was really Evan's comments about the project reflecting the best of the town and people working together for this exciting project come together. So that was nice to hear about.
And before we go to the next item, I do want to just alert the committee to another item that I was unfortunately not able to get pictures of in advance of this meeting. But this past Sunday, a member of the Perkins team and a member of our team at the Hopkins project met with a troop of Girl Scouts on Sunday in Hopkinton at the request of their troop leader for construction related badge that they were doing. They worked on a couple of small construction related projects that they had gotten, and they shared some information that they had on both the Charleswood project and the Hopkins project. So it was good to have some of our female colleagues on both projects from both us and Perkins able to attend that and share what their experience has been. I've heard that everyone had a great time. We had some construction vests and construction hard hats that we passed along, or play construction vests and play construction hard hats that we passed along just so that nobody uses them for actual safety. And I heard through the grapevine that both of our participants from Perkins and from Vertex enjoyed the Girl Scout cookies that were provided to them. So I just wanted to share that with the committee as some of the effort that we've done to just have some of the future generation share in the work that we've done for the community. We had one more item related to schedule that we wanted to cover with you today, and it is a Vertex-centric item. As part of the proposal that we gave you, which is, you will recall, is about a year and a half old at this point from when the project was funded, we had proposed a construction schedule that was based on a 5-day work week. So we had 40 hours a week for our CSM to be on site and supported by our other staff. As we've discussed in the past, it is a lump sum contract. And as Chris noted earlier, construction is the biggest part of our fee, as we're only 31% into where we are after about 5 of our payments during the construction phase. Brate has bid on and proposed an aggressive schedule thus far. They are proposing to finish early. And while we did respond to their schedule, we noted that we do still feel that their schedule is quite aggressive, but they have chosen to continue with their 6-day work week with steel that will be beginning next week. And so they'll be erecting steel 6 days a week, including Saturdays. Our contract with the MSBA does require that the OPM's on site during the work. And so we have bumped up against this. We had planned to bill based on 5 days a week of work, but instead we have been working a 6-day week, and I appreciate the efforts of my team to be able to arrange to cover those days as we move through this. That does mean that we're slightly overcommitting our fee versus what was originally proposed, not in the sense that we don't have enough fee to cover the construction, but that the fee needs to match the way in which the contractor is pursuing the work. So rather than us build up an overage with where we are now, what we would like to propose to the committee, if they'll support it, would be to rework the payment schedule so that it more closely aligns. The Saturdays account to about a $6,000 change. That $6,000 is probably slightly under what the cost is to cover those Saturdays at the rates that we submitted on. And so we would propose to leave the payments thus far unchanged and to adjust payments moving forward, beginning with month ending November, and taking that through August. That would revise our payment from the $100,198 to $106,198. And then we would reduce that level payment for the last few months of September 2027 to December 2027. So that would be a lump sum payment of $67,198. In both cases, the total for construction would remain the same at the $3,106,130. And all other fee schedules would remain the same. This allows us to look at additional options for how we cover those Saturdays so that we can reduce how much we're taxing our core team. And it will also make it more closely aligned with the work that we're expending as we move through the project and with what Braid is proposing. We do want to note that if Braid does fail to deliver on time, just as if they failed to deliver on time on the original schedule, we would want the option to request we revisit the fees, as that work needs to be ongoing. But we fully recognize that it is way too early to make that assumption now. And so that's just cautioning the committee that is in the event that the schedule does not play out as we've proposed. We just want to make sure that we're transparent with the committee about where that falls. We think this is reasonable. We had a chance to discuss it with Susan and John in advance, and it's not necessarily a net change. It's just addressing a need that we have in the short term to be able to cover that 6-day work week on a regular basis. So with that, I'd open up any questions that the committee has about that proposal.
Questions?
So Chris, I'm assuming then that we're gonna work every Saturday between now and August, is that correct?
That is more or less the assumption that Braid has laid out to us.
right.
We've had 2 Saturdays off over the course
Yeah.
of
Yeah,
to now.
and should something happen that 10% of those Saturdays aren't worked, you'll reflect that in this number, I suspect, correct?
We were not thinking. That's part of the reason that I went a little lower with the 6,000. At the end of the day, we have a lump sum contract with the town. So either way, the end product is the same
It's the
number.
same.
This is just trying to adjust it to more closely match what we're expending now. Because we certainly wouldn't want to get in the position of not bringing this up with the committee, get to the end of the job, have Braid be late, and we've overcommitted ourselves and we're continuing to work. That can be challenging on our end. So we're trying to find a fair way to make this reflect what's being asked of us, because our assumption was that we would have a 5-day work and was that this would be closer to an October turnover. And Braid, part of their savings that they're offering the town in their low bid is by finishing early and working as hard as they can to reach that earlier date.
Thank you.
Hey, Chris, I guess my question to follow up is you're showing the reduced payment towards the end of the schedule to end in December 2027, but aren't they, what is their anticipated, if everything goes well, when do they hope to be done by? Isn't it before that date?
So your contract with Braid says that Braid will be complete on, didn't look this night, it's October 21st. Is that what it is, Chris?
Yes.
So October 21st of 2027. We have always proposed this as a fall opening of the school. I want to emphatically caution the committee that it is very early in the process. But I will tell you that the schedule that Braid has provided to us has a substantial completion date of July 1st of 2027. We will continue to watch that, and we will continue to observe how their schedule develops over the course of the months that come. we find that typically vendor contracts to enter into opening the school, we'll begin that process about a year out to make sure that we have ample time for things like furniture selection, FF&E technology, all that kind of stuff. So there's not really a need to commit to when your opening date is until you get closer to about a year out from your completion. So by July of 2026, we'll have a much better idea about where their schedule's looking. And we did share in review of their schedule that while we can't prohibit them from pursuing an aggressive goal, and we encourage them to successfully deliver the project early, we are concerned that their schedule might be overly aggressive, and we have seen them use their float more readily. And so I don't want to overly excite anyone about the prospect that we could have a fall opening, but with the schedule they submitted, there is a possibility that that can occur.
Okay, I mean, that's reasonable and makes sense. Thank you.
And just to pick up on what Chris said, we do track every month their schedule update. We have about 100 items, activities that we compare to see how they're doing, plan versus actual, to be able to evaluate this on a month-to-month basis. So as Chris said, they've slipped in some of their activities, but have eaten into their generous float. So it hasn't changed the end date, but has reduced their float.
Okay. Any other questions on that?
So, John, I was not sure whether we need a vote to revise the payment schedule or not.
I don't think we ever voted to approve the original cash flow.
I think it was
So-
part of the original amendment. So, I'll leave it to your discretion. This is the group that approves our invoices. So if November's invoice shows up at 106,000, I'm
Yeah.
assuming you'd all vote yes. But I'd leave it to the committee's discretion whether they'd want to motion to approve the revised payment schedule or just consensus, which we seem to have from lack of objections.
I personally do not feel like we need to execute a vote for this, but if someone feels differently, I would be happy to entertain it. And I think you have your consensus, Chris.
Thank you.
Okay. And then the last item on the agenda is street improvements update.
Yes, just no slide for this. They're just to give this group a heads up. They have been doing work out there. They're preparing really everything layout wise this fall, and then they'll go dormant for the winter with the hope of picking up again in the spring after school has let out. They are scheduled to do some tree removal that's part of the pole relocation next week and into the following week, that will coordinate with the schools right at the entrance to Marathon on that grass area. But other than that, they're just getting everything set up, all their submittals in and approved, and RFI questions answered, so they're ready to hit the ground running in June.
And just one
Questions?
related note to that. At the last meeting, we did let the committee know that Brate was asked to appear before the Conservation Commission. They did appear. They promptly addressed what was asked of them, and it was to the conservation agent's satisfaction. So we did want to let the committee, just as a follow-up note, that that has been addressed. There is some ongoing concern that some of the neighbors may have noticed about tracking of sediment onto the Hayden Row. If you drive through that area, you may have noticed it. we are working with Brate to resolve that issue, and we've been in discussions with the DPW as part of that to make sure that it's promptly done. We did have Tyne Bond, the third-party reviewer, out to take a look at that as well. And the hope is that the asphalt that they're doing will help address that ongoing concern, just so that we can make sure that we continue to encourage Brate to be good neighbors to all of the abutters on Hayden Row.
Right. Any other questions on that? Well, that is the end of our formal agenda. So if no one has any other business to raise, I would seek a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Motion to adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second, sir.
You got a motion by Chris, second by Mike. Roll call vote. Bill,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes, sir.
Jagrit,
Yes.
Chris,
Yes.
Tiffany.
Yes.
And I am a yes, so that is unanimous 6-0. We are adjourned at 6:41 p.m. Thank you as always to HCAM for recording and broadcasting the meeting, and thank you all for attending, and we will see you next month. Have a good night.
Have a good night, guys. Bye-bye.
Thank you.